Hello students. So in the previous class we were talking about that of the natural resources and we discussed about that of the rainfall. We discussed that how rainfall occurs, student, what is the cause by which the rainfall occurs. In this student we discussed about that of the water cycle. Basically what happens, student, the water bodies, due to that of the absorption of that of the sunlight, they absorb the sunlight and finally they become hot, they become heated, okay, and thus it rises up in the form of water vapor. Now as they rises up, students, at the higher altitude the temperature is low. And as the temperature is low, students, so what happened? This water will get converted into water droplet. Okay. Now this water droplet is converted into that of the, this water vapor converted into water droplet, and together these water droplet, tiny droplets, they together form a cloud. So we can say that by this process, by the process of a condensation, there is a formation of the cloud. Now these clouds, students, they used to move from one place to that of the other place. And by continuously moving, now see, a cloud is formed at a place, a cloud is formed at another place, students. So when these tiny droplets of the clouds, they mix together, they join together, then they will form a heavy cloud or a cloud which is having a lot of water droplets. So if a cloud is having a lot of a water droplet, it will make it heavy and finally it will falls in the form of rain. Okay. Now, the pattern of the rain decides the climate of a country, climate of a place. Now we will move to the next one, students. So previously we will talk about that of the air, which is a very important natural resource for us. But today we will continue with the another very important natural resource, and that is water. A wonderful liquid, that is water. Wonderful liquid. Why is it so, students? Because you see, a lot of liquid are there, including that of milk is there, and oil is there, or juice is there. So a lot of liquid is there. Then why we are saying that a wonderful liquid of water? So you know that water is a very essential for all the living organisms. We cannot survive, we cannot think about our life without water. So it is an abiotic component, student, and very important. Abiotic component and very essential. So since it is essential, so we can say that it is a very important natural resource for us. Now we will talk about the composition. So we will start with that of the composition, students. So if we talk about the composition of that of the water, so you see, what is the composition? So in the, if you see the water, which is important for each and every living organism, so what is the percentage of the water present on that of the earth? So you see here, student, the percentage of water which is present in that on that of the earth is about 97%. So our earth is totally covered, means 97% of the water, sorry, 75%, okay. So 75% of our earth is covered with that of the water, okay. So we can write it about 75% of what of our earth is covered by water. Okay, so total earth surface, total earth is covered by that of the 75% of water. So you can see here, student, it is more than 50% of water. So a lot of water is available for us. Is it so? No. Even then also you have heard about the scarcity of the water. Why is this so? Because if the earth is covered with the 75% of water, and these waters, you see students, these waters are basically present. These are present in lakes, in ocean, in sea water, or river, or groundwater, or glaciers, okay, etc. So a lot of water bodies are there in which this water is trapped or this water is present. Okay, so you see, if this much amount of water is present, so there will be no chance of a scarcity of water. But you have heard that there is a scarcity of water, there is we should conserve the water because availability of water is not much. Why is it so, student? It is because maybe the earth is covered with the 75% of the portion of the earth is covered with that of the water, but out of this 75%, 97% of water, it is present in the sea and that of the ocean. So we can say they are the marine water or they are the saline water. Okay, so write it that out of this, you can write it here, that out of 75%, 97.5% of water is present in marine or saline water. Now see here student, if we talk about the marine or that of the saline water, what does that mean? It means these waters are actually salty, consisting of a salt in it. So we can write it that these water consist of salt in it. Consist of salt in it. Okay, so since it consisting of a salt in it, student, so this much amount of water, we cannot drink the salty water, we cannot consume the water. So we can say that this much amount of water we cannot consume it. So we can write it, we cannot consume the salty water. The salty water. Okay, thus 97.5% of water we cannot drink it. Now, this water, 97.5% out of the 75% is present in which water body? Actually, out of the 75% or the 75%, it's 97% of water is present in that of the sea and ocean. So maximum percentage of the water which is salty, which is saline, it is basically present in that of the sea water or that of the ocean. Okay, so we can write it. These are basically present in sea and oceans. Okay, so basically it is present in that of the sea and ocean, students. Okay, so you see, out of 97.5% of water is in the sea and the ocean, and these water are saline, these water consisting of a salt in it, so we cannot drink it. Now out of this, the 97% went to that of the salty water. So out of that leftover water, it means about 2.5% of water. Okay, So we can say that about 2.5% of water is a fresh water. Fresh water. Let me tell you one thing, student. What is the difference between that of the marine water and that of the fresh water? Fresh water is a water which does not consisting of a salt in it. And marine water or the saline water is a water which consisting of a salt in it. So we cannot drink marine water, we can drink only the fresh water. So out of that 75, only 2.5% of our water is a fresh water. Even in this also, students, about 1.75% of the water is present in the form of a glaciers. Okay, so we can write it that about 1.9597% of water is present in the form of glaciers. So you see here, student, this 2.5% of water is a fresh water, and out of this 2.5 fresh water, 1.97% of water is present in the form of glaciers. Okay, and rest of the water, now you can see that out of that this much amount of water is present in the glaciers, so rest of the water will be available for us. Okay, so we can say that rest of the water is present to us. Now you see here, the rest of the water which is present to us is of very small fraction. So automatically the availability of the water will be very less for us. So we can write it, rest of the water is available to us. One more thing, student, in the form of a glacier is present, water is present in that of the groundwater also, that we cannot take it. So very small fraction of water is available to us. Very small fraction of a fresh water is available to us, that we can consume it, that we can drink it. Okay. So we can write it that very small fraction of water, very small fraction of water is available for us. Right? So very small amount of water is available for us. Now you see here, student, if we talk about that of the water, so amount of the water, it varies from place to place. It means at a place maybe the amount of water is more, and at other place the amount of water may be less. So we can write it. The distribution of that of the fresh water distribution of fresh water varies. Okay, it is not necessary that a certain place or all the places will have an equal amount of water. You know that at some place the amount of fresh water is more, and at some place the amount of fresh water is less. It also depends upon the groundwater, means how much what is the level of the groundwater. It also depends upon the river. It also depends upon the lakes which is present in that particular area. So we can say that the distribution of the fresh water is not equal, but it varies from place to place. And that is why at some place the amount of fresh water is more and other place the amount of fresh water may be less. Now you see that the availability of the water, it also define the flora or the fauna of that particular area. It means the availability of the water decide the type of the species or the type of a flora and fauna present in that of the particular or type of a habitat of that of the living organisms. So we can write it that the availability of the water availability of water decides the type of species, decides the types of species, the types of species and number of individual at that particular area. So we can write it at that particular area. So at that particular area, the availability of the water students, it decides the type of the species and that of the number of the individuals present. Okay, so water decided the type of a flora and fauna of that particular area. Okay, so this is the composition of the water, student, in which we study that the total earth is covered by the 75% of the water. It means the availability of the water is much more, but out of that 97.5% of water is present in that of the sea and the ocean. And sea water and the ocean, it is a saline water. It consisting of a salt in it. And we cannot drink it. That is why the name is marine water. Now, out of that, student, only 2.75% of water is available to us, or it is in the form of a fresh water to the earth. Now, in that also, student, 1.97% of the water is present in the form of a glaciers. Now, rest of the small amount of water is present for us to drink, for consumption and for other purpose. Okay, so the availability of the water for us is very less, students. It means the fresh water that we can consume is the amount of that fresh water is very less. Okay. Now, not only this, students, the availability of the water, why the water is important for a particular area. Let me tell you one more thing, that the availability of the water, it also varies from place to place. It means at a certain place, maybe the amount of water will be more. At a certain place, the amount of water may be less. Now, the availability of water decides the species and number of individual. What type of an individual is there and what type of a species is present in that particular area, it decides the presence of water decides on that particular area. Okay, students? Now we will move and understand a very important thing, and that is the groundwater. We discuss what is a groundwater, student. It is a fresh water. Okay, so we will discuss that how the formation of the groundwater occur and how groundwater is important for us. Okay, you are well aware of this term, student, and that is of the groundwater. Let us understand it again and clear the concept. So you see here, student, if we talk about that of the groundwater, groundwater, it means the water which is present in the ground. So inside the ground, the water which is present inside to that of the ground is known as the groundwater. Basically, how the formation of the groundwater occurs, students. So you see, when the rainfall occurs, so this rainfall, it goes and meets into that of the water bodies. It helps in filling that of the water bodies, including the river, including the lake, including the sea and the ocean. Okay. And even when it falls in the ground also, from the ground itself it went and meet to the river again. But a small amount of a water or a certain amount of a water, it seeps inside. It percolates inside to that of the from the soil to the inside to that of the ground. So you see here students, soil, they are porous. It means it is having holes in it. So this water, it seeps from these pores and finally from the different layer of the water, it reaches to a place where it get collected and form a groundwater. So groundwater is the result of the percolation of the water. What is percolation, student? It means seeping of the water drop by drop by the pores of the soil so that it will form the groundwater. That is known as the percolation of the water. So groundwater is the result of that of the percolation of the water, student. Second thing, is groundwater is a fresh water or a marine water? Yes, groundwater is a fresh water. Third, is groundwater is a pure or impure? No, it is a pure form since it moves from a different layer. So from the different layer it starts getting filtered and finally when it forms the groundwater, student, there it is of a purest form of a water. So groundwater, we will consider it as a pure form of water. So let us write it and understand it well. So first of the thing that what is the use of this groundwater, students? So you see, for the domestic purpose, you see the well is what well is basically what we used to dig it and used to take it water from the from inside to that of the ground, students. So what is the use you do with that of the well water? For the domestic purpose, okay, for bathing, for cleaning, for brushing, for washing. So all these domestic purpose we use the water, we use the groundwater. For drinking also, so we can write it at first. It is used for domestic purpose, including bathing, cleaning, washing, drinking, etc. Okay, so you see here, students, it is used for the various purpose. It is used for the various domestic purpose that we use. Now, if we see the second one, students, so how does this this groundwater form? So this involves a lot of the step. Let us discuss one by one. So when the rainfall occur, rainwater reaches to the soil and from there percolate, it means seep inside to that of the ground. So we can say percolate means what, students? That is seeps inside the ground. Okay, how? In the form of a rain drops. Okay, so we can write it. So, seeps inside the groundwater in the form of drops, water drops. Okay, so it percolates and form ground water. So you see here student, it percolates and reaches inside to the soil where it forms the ground water. Okay. So this process of the in which the water seeps inside to that of the ground inside to that of the ground is known as the percolation. So this process is known as the percolations. Now the rock or the soil, if we talk about the rock and the soil, now if we talk about the rock and that of the soil students, so the rock and the soil below the surface, they are saturated with that of the water, and this zone, this portion is known as the saturated, this portion is known as the saturated water. This zone is known as the saturation zone of the water. Now the upper level of that of the zone of saturation of water is known as the water table. So we can write it that the rock or the soil, the rock or the soil below the surface of ground, below the surface of earth, is having saturated water, is having saturated water. Now this zone is known as the saturation zone. Okay, so saturated water, and this is called as saturated zone. Okay. Now the upper level of this zone of saturation of the water, the upper level of the zone of saturation of the water is zone of saturation of the water is called as a water table. It's called as a water table. Now if we talk about the distance, if we talk about the water level, you have heard about the water level. What is the water level? Whenever we talk that the rainfall does not occur, so due to which the level of the water goes down, right? And sometimes we say that due to the heavy rainfall, the groundwater gets replenished well and the water level is very high. What is the meaning of the water level, student? Don't get confused with the water table and water level. Where the place where the rock and that of the soil below that of the surface is having a place is there where the water is present. That place where the groundwater is collected, that zone is known as a saturation zone. Okay, so that saturated zone is consisting of the groundwater, and the upper level of that of the zone of saturation is known as a water table. Now if we have to understood that of the water level, students, so water level is what? The vertical distance from that of the ground to that of the water table is known as a water level. So we can write it. The vertical distance from that of the ground to that of the from the, it should be here, the from the from the ground to that of the water table. Okay, so the vertical distance, students, distance from that of the ground to that of the water table is called as water level. Okay, so it's called as a water level. Okay, so the vertical distance from that of the ground to that of the water table is water level. Okay, so suppose if we say that this is the water level of this particular area, or the water level goes down, the level of the water is very less, especially if we talk about that of the groundwater. So what is the water level? The upper surface of that of the groundwater to the ground. Okay, so from the ground to the upper surface of that of the ground and groundwater. Okay, so distance between that of the ground to that of the groundwater, the upper level of that of the groundwater is known as the water level. Okay, so upper part of that of the groundwater is known as a water table. So water table and the ground distance decides the water level. Now if the distance is more, students, if the vertical distance from that of the ground to that of the water table is more, it means the level of water is less. And if the distance is less, so we can say the level of water is high. Okay, so how can we decide the water level? By seeing the vertical distance of the ground to that of the water table. Water table is what, student? The upper surface of that of the groundwater is known as a water table, and both of them decides the water level. So this is what? This is the groundwater. How does it form and how we can use it for the different domestic purposes.